afternoon or good evening wherever we're to you, and welcome to full delayed commentary of yesterday's Premier League return for Burnley Football Club as they take on Swansea City, who just lost their captain Ashley Williams to Everton, but have added Laurenti to their line-up in time for yesterday's trip to Turf Moor. We're going to bring you a full match commentary of what happened yesterday, so we've been keeping it rather secret during the live commentary earlier on this afternoon between Arsenal and Liverpool, which, as you know, ended 4-3. You know, for a minute, a great way to start our live coverage. Anyway, before we bring you the full commentary, let's give you a recap of who started for who yesterday. Burnley making the one change from when they wrapped up the championship title last season in some style at Charlton. That's David Jones in for Joey Barton. So this is how Burnley lined up. Was Heaton in goal, Loughton, Keane, Mead, Ward the back four. Scott Arfield, David Jones, Dean Marney and George Boyd were the midfield quartet. Jones being the one change, of course. And Sam Vokes and Andre Gray with 14 goals and 23 goals respectively last season led the line in attack. Swansea lined up with Fabianski in goal, Norton, Fernandez and Martin Kinsley were the back line. Britton, Cork, Fair, Barrow and Ratledge were a midfield five, with Laurenti being the lone striker. Gylfi Sigurdsson started amongst the substitutes as well, and it was going to be a tense occasion. The atmosphere was yesterday at Turf Moor was brilliant. So let's take you back to 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, where referee John Moss was just about to get the game underway. Enjoy. So we're all set to go. The man today is John Moss, and just across the road in Yorkshire. Good afternoon, welcome to the commentary. So Burnley about to get the Premier League campaign underway. The Championship champions about to get the game going, and it's going to be Swansea in fact to kick off this new rule where Laurenti will have to prop the ball back to his own half. That's up and running now. And off we go then. Burnley's Premier League campaign is up and running. Swansea in the white shirts, in the white shirts, white shorts and black stockings, attacking the Jimmy McIlroy end to the left. Burnley, need I remind you, in the claret and blue. They're going to attack the David Fishwick end to the right to left in this game. And there's a few empty seats, but it's practically a full house here at Turf Moor. Burnley, who have been criticised, and I've criticised them on my YouTube channel in recent weeks, criticising their lack of transfer activity. Well, we'll find out for sure out on that field today as Britton goes forward for Swansea. Plays it out to Mo Barrow, number 17. Barrow now takes on Arfield. Back again it goes. Opportunity here for Jack Court to get an early ball in there. Michael Keane winning the early header, and Jones nodding it back, and a chance here for Stephen Ward to hook it away. But should be a cracking game. This is Kingsley, the Scot. Came from Falkirk, same place as Scott Arfield started his career, incidentally. Here's Jordi Amat and Hernandez. And Swansea will have to obviously adapt to life without Ashley Williams. Gone to Everton for a reported £12 million, and Ward has conceded the first free kick of the game. Foul on Mo Barrow. Free kick. The referee there, John Moss, refereed this corresponding fixture a couple of years ago when he failed to give Sam Vokes a clear penalty. It ended 1-0 to Swansea that day at Turf Moor. It was a late February day, and it was a very tough old day that was. He's got a free kick now to organise, and Norton and Mo Barrow over this one. Plenty forward for Swansea. Routledge is on the edge. Leroy third there. Laurenti, the new signing, is there too. And this will be a real test for Messrs. Me and Keane, as Norton sends it in, right footed into the mix. Little flick inside, but he's come out to the edge of the area once again. And it's Wayne Routledge, the former Crystal Palace man, lays it in. Now a chance for Kingsley, left hand side, leaves it in, tries to play 1-2 with Routledge, but Boyd is there for Burnley, and the goal kick it is to the Clarets. For this commentary stream, we will not be doing any responding to any messages. We'll be commentating the whole game as it's a delayed commentary. Just to let you guys know whoever's watching, but you will be able to comment once the video is uploaded onto YouTube. You will be able to make comments on what your opinions were on the game. Here's Tom Heaton in with the right-footed goal kick. We've played 3 minutes almost of the first half. Burnley's Premier League adventure starts here. They've got a match at home to Liverpool next week at the same time. And, well, it's important really to get 3 points on the board. Jody Amat there closing in when Sam Vokes was almost free there. It's going to be a tough old afternoon for the defenders. Andre Gray will be a handful. He's pace and bags of it to burn, and that's no lie, that's for sure. Here's Larkin with the throw now for Burnley, in towards George Boyd near side. He'll get that decision. Came off Jody Amat last in a free. An opportunity now for the Clarets. Loughton to take it. 20 forward in claret and blue. Matt Loughton there to Dean Marley. Back to Loughton again. Left near side, right hand side of course as we look. Now it's Jack Cork. Gets claret of course. Jack Cork had 2 spells when Brian Laws was manager at the Turf. Thought a lot about him. So, of course, son of the great Wimbledon striker Big Alan Cork. Also played for Sheffield United, of course, did his father Alan. Scored in an FA Cup semi-final. Won a Cup Winners' Medal with Wimbledon back in 1988. Marley trying to get in there. In fact, there was a push there by Jack Cork on D. Marley. So a 3 kick. David Jones getting on with it quickly. Finds Michael Keane. Keane on to Ben Mee on the halfway line here. Mee trying to get it over towards Vokes on the far side, and he'll keep that in. I think Vokes, he did well. Norton tracking back, and Arfield doing well. But back came Leon Britton, the new Swansea captain, and hooks it out for a throw level with the penalty box on the left-hand side for Burnley. And it's going to be Stephen Ward to throw it into the mixer. Gray and Boyd just by the penalty spot. It's thrown in towards the area. Vokes tries to flick it on. They can't do so. Arfield is there battling on the edge of the area. But it's come out again to Ben Mee. Mee just touches it on to Michael Keane. Remember, Burnley going into this 23 undefeated in league terms. They're only defeated in 2016 as Vokes tucks it on. Arfield has a shot, and goalkeeper Fabianski having to dive to his right. Makes a smart save. That was a good header down and a good start there for Burnley. A really good positive move there. Scotty Arfield, who scored on the opening day 2 years ago against Swansea, against I think there might have been a flag up in fact against Vokes for offside, but I think the referee knew, I think, that Arfield was going to hit it straight at the goalkeeper, and he's carried on. He's trying to keep the game going. It's a good save actually from Fabianski. But Arfield, who scored that opening goal 2 years ago against Chelsea in the opening match on that famous Monday night, where Burnley did take the lead in that game, but were then were pulled back and subsequently lost the game 3-1, but they were far from disgraced. Meanwhile, Mo Barrow is having a pop there at Ward. Now, was this a foul? Let's have a look at it again. Well, yes, he's took him from behind a little bit there. I suppose Mo Barrow had a little bit of a gripe at that, I suppose. Here's Jody Amat for Swansea City. This is going to be their 6th consecutive season as a Premier League club, as a top flight club. They got promoted back in 2011 after losing their top flight status back in the early 80s. 83 they lost their top flight status. They had that early rise, of course, in the early 80s under the great John Toshak. And of course there's a little bit of connection today, because the half-time guest, I believe, is Leighton James, a legend in both Burnley and Swansea. Played for both clubs and represented them both with great distinction. So the avoided loyalties for him at the Turf this afternoon. He's the half-time special guest during the raffle they usually have at Turf Moor at half-time. And Ben Mee now for Burnley. 0-0 with 6 minutes of the first half gone. And here's Tom Heaton, Burnley's captain, England's third choice keeper, with his first cap in the build-up to the recent Euros. Was part of that disappointing England squad that fell so miserably in that second round match. Everyone will remember against Iceland, where I ranted on so much after the game. In fact, I ranted on so much I made 2 videos about it. I don't regret doing it, by the way. But this should be a good game. Swansea, we all know, they're a very, very capable side. They have a very capable attacking force. certainly in their ranks at the moment. And the ball's just gone out. Barrow has it on the far side. Here he is now, battling there with Ward. That's going to be a battle and a half as that game goes on as the game goes by. And here's a chance now. Oh, a little bit of a slip there from Routledge. Here's Barrow again. Barrow now running towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got to the byline. Barrow pulls it back. And in the end, Di Marni got it away, but only as far as Routledge. Routledge pushed the ball in there. Laurenti's header, and he's straight into the arms of Tom Heaton. Wasn't a particularly well-headed effort, but it was straight in the arms of Tom Heaton, who was able to gather in no problem at all. A very tame header in the end, and it was quite easy for the goalkeeper to reach there. And remember whoever's listening in and would like to comment, please don't, because this is a delayed commentary. So the clue is in the title, as Michael Keane just had a little bit of a defensive lapse there, which almost cost Burnley. There was the cross, and was there a suspicion of handball? No, I don't think I think it was purely accidental there, Michael Keane. But it's play on, says the referee. The atmosphere here at Turf Moor is an absolute cauldron, and they know on opening day they haven't won a top flight. They haven't won a top flight fixture on the opening day since 1973. And that was a 2-0 success, I think, at Sheffield United at Bramall Lane, and they had the likes of Woodward and Curry and all that mob down there at Sheffield United, and they were a tough side in those days, I can tell you that. Throw conceded then by Swansea City. Coming up towards 10 minutes of the first half, and it's going to be Matt Loughton, with a long throw then, hoisted high towards that penalty area. And it's flicked on, but it's knocked away, and that's always a dangerous sign really for Burnley. But the ball back towards Tom Heaton, Mr. Reliable. That's why he's captain of the club. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got a tremendous temperament. Here's Michael Keane getting it back to Heaton once again. And once again, chance here for Michael Keane to hook it forward. Over the halfway line it goes. Header won there by Marnie on towards Gray. Now Vokes has it over on the far side. And now it's touched back to Stephen Ward. Ward looks for outlets. Marnie is there. Jones is there too. Marnie touches it back, and it's back with Ben Mee. Burnley, of course, 23 undefeated. Swansea just stayed up by the skin of their teeth last season. They had a bad run in the middle of the season when they lost, obviously, the parted company with Gary Monk. Had Alan Curtis as well as a caretaker boss when Hugh Jenkins took his time in naming the manager, and he appointed Guido in until the end of the season, and because he kept them up and did a little bit more than that, he's giving them a 2-year contract at the Liberty Stadium. And here's Kingsley on to Fair. Leroy Fair is a signing, of course, from Queen's Park Rangers. Has played for 2 different clubs in the Premier League before and has been relegated twice, Norwich City and, of course, last time out, Queen's Park Rangers. Here's Llorente, turns, now Fair has it, on towards Kingsley, near side here, and Kingsley plays it in towards Llorente. Good turn there by the new number 9, and he was fouled there, but Di Marni claiming he got the ball. John Moss wasn't interested in his claims, so let's look at that again. Well, he's got the ball there. I think the referee spoiled for that a bit. I think Llorente went down in installments. I think Di Marni's got every right to be a bit upset by that decision. And I've been a staunch critic of John Moss for many, many years. I don't think he's a good enough referee. I criticised his appointment of the FA Cup final a couple of years ago, and I certainly criticised it more when he unfairly sent off Mike Duff when he was in charge of Burnley's last Premier League game against West Ham. So it's Routledge, Kingsley and Cork, the 3-man committee. Leroy Fair standing there now. Barrow wanted a piece, but he's been told by Jack Cork to go away. And it looks as if it's going to be whipped in here by Kingsley. And indeed it is, in towards the 6-yard area, but Ben Mee was there, good alert defender, but he's back with Britton, and Britton will run against his opposite number here, Andre Gray, and he shields the ball quite well from the Burnley number 7. Now Barrow has it, Barrow's cross, it's a good one, dangerous one, Llorente's header, and over the bar it goes, and to relative safety, a goal kick to Burnley, and they'll be a little bit relieved by that. Swansea's just starting to turn the screw a wee bit. They're getting one or two of the decisions here from the referee, but even so, their quality, you can see Llorente, he's a deadly hot shot. He's proved it many years in La Liga. This is a totally different kettle of fish. Let's not forget this English Premier League. It's an unforgiving league. We've seen people like we've seen really talented foreigners come to English football and really not performed, and they haven't found the pace of the games over here to their liking. So we'll have to see how Llorente really fits in here into the Premier League way of life. Meanwhile, 13 minutes gone, and Burnley are just about holding their own at the moment. They're doing okay, and you know, they've conceded one or two sloppy pieces of play. Now here's a chance for Keane to burst forward, get a long ball up there towards Sammy Vokes and Andre Gray, and Gray will chase this for all he's worth, but he'll have to give it up because the ball was run dead into touch almost by the far corner quadrant. It will be a throw. "13 minutes gone." Here's Mike. 13 minutes gone. I think it's a real tough baptism of fire really for Burnley when you think about it, to be honest with you. Obviously Gray couldn't keep the ball in, and it's a tough old ask really when you're new to a Premier League season. There's Matt Loughton there, really good player to have in your squad. He's got Premier League experience amongst other things. And he knows how to fight a relegation battle and actually scrape through in his days. And Aston Villa was deemed surplus to requirements last summer by Tim Sherwood, the then Villa manager, and they let him go, and look what happened there. Here's Jones now breaking towards the byline, and he yields the corner there to Burnley. And this is where Burnley really need to strike these set plays, and David Jones, who we saw against Real Sociedad in that final pre-season game, he really did look as if he was at odds with himself. His free kicks repertoire and his set piece repertoire was nothing short of appalling. Now these deliveries need to be spot on. Jones floats it in towards the 6-yard area. That's actually a very good delivery, and the goalkeeper had to gamble and get a fist on it, and he did. But here's Marley though to Jones, far side. Burnley now starting to get a little bit up a steam as we come towards the quarter of an hour mark. Here's Ward, chased by Norton, comes off Norton. That looked as if it went behind. It did it? No, says Mr. Moss, and I have to say his two linesmen should have helped on that near side. Mick Madonna and Stephen Child. Mick Madonna certainly is one of the assistants. We've had a quarter of an hour then at Turf. A day of contrasting weather. We've had sunshine, some showers, cloud in the sky, but it's quite a mild afternoon in the East Lancashire surroundings, and it's good to see football, Premier League football, back in this part of the world after 1 year's absence. And here's Cork. Marnie was bundled off the ball by Leroy Fair, and Barrow in a lot of space. Ward really needs to close him down really. Barrow has got the whole of the right hand side to himself, and he tries the shot. He hit Boyd. Comes to Wayne Routledge here. Referee playing on. Here's Routledge. Gets the ball in, but it's well charged down by Georgie Boyd, who says that's a throw, ref. Give him a throw. Been looking round. I mean, the turf has really changed a lot since promotion, really it has. The new club shop looks an absolute impressive building there, and it's an absolute colossus of a building. And it's bigger than the old club shop there, and it's a real credit to Burnley Football Club that they are progressing in that way. Offside incidentally given. You're missing nothing here at the moment. have to say the PA system's quite a loud one as well. There's Sean Dyche. He has mentioned that transfers have been quite tough. When certain members of the board, including Mike Garlick, when eventually they will wake up and smell the coffee, they will actually realise that this is a football club that needs to get out of the past and start spending a few quid. They might be doing it now with Stefan Defoe. He's coming from, I believe, from Anderlecht in a £7.5 million deal. So there we go. First, hopefully, of 4 new faces. Mike Garlick has come out and stated in the Premier League launch a couple of days ago that he wants to try and bring in. He's got 10 targets, up to 10 targets in mind. He's looking to do 3 or 4 of them. He might amaze us yet and get 5 or 6, but we won't waste our breath on that. Anyway, back with the game. We're missing nothing, but here comes Norton. Jordi Amat, sorry. Down the near side, but Loughton, his opposite number, does well. Get back there and does some good defensive work and gets Andrew Gray on his way. Here's Andre Gray, good turn. Boyd on the overlap, and he almost got it through Kingsley's legs, and he got lucky there. The young Scot there, Kingsley, just hit his legs, and it's just sort of bounced away. On another day, that would have gone right through to Boyd, who might have had a free cross. But into the 90, coming up towards 20 minutes gone at turf, and Loughton gets the ball in. Vokes flicks it on. Gray is there on the edge of the D, can't control, and Jack Cork can get it away for Swansea. Up to Laurenti to Britton now on towards Norton, and Norton turns it on to Barrow to Cork, and Cork tries to play Barrow, but it's overhit, and Ben Mee, he slipped there, Ben Mee. But there was, luckily for him, there was no Swansea player within a good 10-15 yard radius of him. Here's David Jones now, 10 yards from the halfway line. He has to play to D Marney, midway inside the Burnley half. We're coming up to 19 minutes gone in this high octaned, pretty exciting first half, which needs a go, I think. And it's back with goalkeeper Tom Heaton, the captain of Burnley Football Club. And he'll kick long, right-footed. 3/4 of the way up the field towards Sam Vokes, winning the flick on, but Kingsley won the second ball. Unchallenged as well. Here's Laurenti, on to Britton. Britton inside the centre circle. Moves it out towards Norton. Norton over the halfway line to Barrow. Barrow back to Britton. Right on halfway, more or less. 5 yards inside the Burnley half. Now it's back to Jordi Amat inside his own half now, and it's back with Hernandez, and there's a chance now for Cork. Cork again lifts it in, and here's Britton again. Britton plays the ball in, a little flick back there, but it didn't come off in the end for Swansea. It was Leroy Fer trying to flick it on. Ball won in the centre by Cork, and then Latledge and Laurenti went exactly on the same wavelength, and it's proved to Tom Heaton. We played exactly 20 minutes, and Burnley at the moment, without really threatening the Swansea goal, are still momentarily holding their own at the moment. Ball back at the other end, in fact, to Fabianski, who bowls it out to Britton. Britton back to Fabianski again. All in yellow today, the big Swansea goalkeeper. And here's Jordi Amat. 0-0 at Turf Moor. Britton leaves it in. First half, really, that it's ebbed and flowed. There's not been too many problems for Burnley at the moment defensively. They've held their own, and they don't look at all out of place. Remember, most of this squad have had top flight experience of 2 years ago, and they were only literally 1 win away from probably staying in the Premier League, and that's the annoying aspect of it all. They were 3 points off staying up. Only Aston Villa winning 1 more game kept them up there. Goal kick to Swansea, to Burnley rather. There's the coach, I can see there, Francesco Guidolin, Italian coach. They are good, these Italian coaches, but Ben Mee has lost it, and here's Laurenti, 20 yards out, chance the shot, and that was the first real mistake Burnley have made, and it was Ben Mee of all people, Mr. Consistency in the Championship last season, and he gave Laurenti basically a free shot at Tom Heaton. He struck it with his right foot, but unfortunately for the big Spaniard, he hit it straight down the goalkeeper's throat. Remember, he's won the World Cup in 2010, so he's got international winning pedigree. And at the other end we've got a throw now, and that could just wake Burnley up now, not just defensively but in an attacking sense. But that was a bad mistake from Ben Mee, a real uncharacteristic slip there by the Burnley centre half with the blonde hair. And Loughton whips that ball in there, Gray at the back post, jumping, and he just headed it behind Vokes by the penalty spot. And otherwise, if Vokes had controlled it better, then we might have been in there for goal number 1. As it happens, it's now with Swansea City now. And Swansea now looking to break with Kyle Norton. Norton onto Mo Barrow. And again, we're halfway through a highly competitive first half. It's been very good watch, and it's been very, very enjoyable. Here's Jack Cork, ex-Claret of course. Plays the ball around the corner. Barrow there for Swansea, but Burnley win it back rather well. Scott Arfield doing tremendously well. And here's Michael Keane to Ben Mee. Ben Mee now can't afford to make another mistake. And here's Ward. Oh, he turned Barrow inside, and now that's a battle and a half that, and he's allowed to run away from Barrow, but Barrow's tracked him back rather well, and then that's a good bit of defending by Kyle Norton to get it away. That was really good defending. So it's a throw though to Swansea, to Burnley rather. Here's Vokes to Marnie. Marnie inside the centre circle. Now Keane has it, done halfway. On towards George Boyd. He'll come out to the right hand side. He's got Loughton on that side. Loughton gets the crossing. It's knocked away. It was a half-hearted crossing. It was knocked away pretty easily there by young Kingsley. And here's a chance now for Ben Mee to get it back to his goalkeeper, which is Tom Heaton of course. I'll tell you what, these 23 minutes have just shot by here at Turf Moor. They really have. And he kicks right-footed over the halfway line. Good kick out there from goalkeeper Tom Heaton. Now Jones has it. Midway inside the half. Boyd controlled it. And still controlled it. Swansea claimed that was a handball, but it's play on. Barfield laid it in. Ward with a cross. Headed out again. And good defending again by Swansea City. And here's Mo Barrow. On goes to Ward. Oh, Barrow died for me. Stephen Ward making the point. Mo Barrow's got the decision. And he's come to... No, he hasn't got the decision. Mo Barrow died and the referee didn't fall for it. Good decision, John Moss. Ward did go in, but there's no doubt at all Mo Barrow was looking for that, and you can't do that. That's a pure dive, and that should be a yellow card. He knew what he was doing, Mo Barrow. There's no doubt in my mind that was simulation, and that's a dive in the true sense of the word. John Moss was never falling for that little trick. And Mo Barrow can complain all he wants, but I'm afraid to say, when you run the risk of diving, he's lucky he's not been in the book, and so I don't know what he's got any just cause to complain. Sean Dyche, I've just seen a picture of him there shaking his head, and we all know what Sean Dyche thinks of it. Meanwhile, Burnley have got themselves a free kick. That was a really stupid bit of play there from Mo Barrow. It really was. For a guy of such talent, I think that was a disgraceful thing to do. But Burnley, never mind that. Burnley have a free kick and could score from it. It's going to be Ward to take it from the far side, and Ben Mee was lurking, but so too was Lucas Fabianski, the Polish goalkeeper. And it's a great little battle in that Polish goal. It's a two-way battle between them, between him and Wojciech Szczęsny, of course, the two former Arsenal goalkeepers battling it out to see who will be top dog in that Polish goal, and that's always an interesting thing to see. We've got about 20 minutes to go until half time, and it's Burnley 0, Swansea City 0, and here's Big Tom Heaton with the kick. 0-0 it is at Turf Moor. And Boyd winning another header, winning that second header. Folks trying to flick it on, but it's Routledge now winning it for Swansea inside the centre circle. Now Ben Mee has it on to Ward. Ward hooks it forward. Long ball up towards Gray. Gray turning onto Vokes. Vokes was tripped surely there by Jordi Amat, and it will be a free kick as we come up towards 26.5 minutes of the first half. Burnley 0, Swansea City 0. And that was a foul, clear foul there by Jordi Amat. I'm surprised that's not going to be any further punishment for him. So a free kick to Burnley in dangerous territory. Referee John Moss handing it out. It's going to be Jones to whip it in towards the 6-yard area. Good header away there. And the chance here now for Kingsley to get it forward now for Swansea City, but that will be easy for Tom Heaton. Absolutely aimless ball there by the Swansea City left back. And here is the captain of Burnley, the big goalkeeper Tom Heaton, whose really his reputation really does go before him, it has to be said. Flicked on again, and it's now with Leroy Thayer now from St Vokes' flick. Just couldn't find anybody in the end. 28 minutes gone almost of the first half. Burnley 0, Swansea 0. And here is an opportunity now for Norton to go forward, and he finds Barrow. Barrow now he's touching it on. And now a chance for Julian Britton now to make a space, and look at the opportunity here for Kingsley. Kingsley now plays it in there. Good play this from Swansea, but it's been Llorente has been flagged for offside. Good decision again from the linesman on a free kick to Burnley. 0-0, but a good game. Both teams looking to attack, both teams looking to score at every conceivable opportunity. Llorente has looked pretty good in the movements on the movement front, but at the moment nothing too significant to worry Tom Heaton at the moment. In an all-blue goalkeeping strip at the moment as he kicks clear with his trusty right foot, 3/4 of the way up the park. It will come here to Kingsley, who has to hook it away, and it's a throw level with the penalty area. Swansea to Burnley in a very good position. Loughton will take delivery over this throw. Vokes is lurking as well. Loughton is there, thrown in towards Gray, tries to turn. Gray does well, but good defending there by young Kingsley. Gray, for all his pace, just couldn't give the strong Kingsley the slip. But it's a corner to Burnley. We're inside a half an hour of the first half. We're inside the last 15 minutes of the first half almost. And it's a Burnley corner. David Jones, these deliveries need to be better today. There's Jones. Well, in fact, the referee wasn't happy about a little bit of pushing and shoving going on. And he's speaking to Geordie and Matt. And to be fair, it wasn't a very good corner from Jones, so he's got the second bite at the cherry, so to speak. Now this needs to be a good one. Surely, David Jones needs to be good. Whips it in from the lane side, and it almost caught out Fabianski, who took that behind for a corner. He caught it at the near post, but the momentum of the dive took it over the line here. Well, that could have easily been an own goal. When Jones in that Swansea rear guard, and I'll tell you something, that was a worrying moment for the Swans. I'll tell you what, that was a worrying moment for the Swans, so Jones will have to try again. Look at that crowd scene there. And the ball flicked on, and the flick on by the goalkeeper. He got a good little purchase on that. Marnie in to win the next ball midway inside the half. And he gets it out, and Boyd might just win that race for the ball. No, he's gone out of play, and he did win the race all right, but couldn't keep the ball in play, unfortunately. Georgie Boyd. Sean Dyche's having a few words with the fourth official, Anthony Taylor there. He's having a few words, in fact. Complaining maybe about the pushing and shoving from Geordie and Matt just a few seconds ago. But it's 0-0 with half an hour gone. And Loughton just easily gets it back to his goalkeeper. And posed one or two problems here, the Clarets, today, I have to say. And that's going to be the case throughout this game, I think, where I think for Burnley today it will be all about the set plays, that's for sure. As Boyd flicks the ball on, and Gray's onside. Andre Gray, right foot, he gets underneath it and he hits it over the bar into the David Fisher again. But Andre Gray there, that's what he thrives on. Good service like that, and he just probably sliced it there at the crucial moment. And Dean Marnie, full marks there for a little flick on, and then Boyd with a lovely ball over the top, and just to the right of goal inside the area. Gray struck it with his right foot, but just sliced it a wee bit, and it went into the stand for a goal kick. And Lucas Fabianski Swansea City goalkeeper will take the goal kick. No goals. Fabianski with the right foot. Over the halfway line it goes. Flicked on again by Llorente. Now Ben Mee to win the next header. Now Jones has it. Marnie now takes possession of the play. And he gets a long ball over the top and a chance here for greater chase. But again, good defending there by Swansea City. And they're looking a little bit shaky, a little bit disturbed at the moment. But at the moment, Burnley holding their own and forcing one or two errors in that Swansea defence and creating one or two opportunities for themselves. They're having a good little spell here, the Clarets. Swansea certainly had the best of the opening periods, but Burnley have really come back into it. And here is Michael Keane as we come towards, we're inside the last 15 minutes, 33 minutes almost gone. One ball there, a chance here for neither one of Kingsley or Hamat to get a header on it, and it was Jody Hamat who got back and did that, and it's a throw almost level at the edge of the Swansea area to the Clarets. And here's Boyd from Loughton's throw. Loughton continued to run, and to be fair, Kingsley did well and dispossessed Boyd. I think Boyd just dawdled on it a little bit too long. Keane battling with Llorente, almost on halfway. Now Britton has it to Barrow. Barrow touches it back. Kingsley looked long and then realised Boyd was onto him like a flash, and the header won by Keane. On turn to Vokes. Vokes turns away. Marnie's there too, and he was tripped by Leon Britton. Free kick. Coming up towards the last 10 minutes of the first half, there's Johan Bergkamundsen, one of the heroes for Iceland in that European Championship run to the semi-quarter-finals where they were beaten 5-2 by France, but it was never a game that needed that sort of scoreline. And what a chance for Wayne Ratledge from the cross from Barrow. Barrow got to the byline, he swapped wings, he got to the byline, got the cross in. It was a lovely cross from Mo Barrow, and the cross, look at this again, just gets to the byline, hooks it back across, and Ratledge on the volley with his left foot could have easily made it 1-0 there to Swansea. Just misses the far post here, the left post, by inches hook. Just strikes it, and oh, that wasn't too far away from the former Crystal Palace man. He's a good player, Wayne Ratledge. I do rate him as a footballer. He's a good pacey player. Had it in his days at Crystal Palace. And throw up to Swansea. David Jones. That's clearance. Coming up towards the last 10 minutes. What's been a highly competitive, highly charged first half of football. And at the moment, nothing to choose between the two sides at this moment in time. And here's Mo Barrett keeping it in. That's a good ball on in turn to Llorente. Llorente down that left hand channel. And look at Ben Mee tracking him all the way. But Ben Mee has slipped. And that might give Llorente an opportunity here to get the cross in. He does, indeed he does. Ratledge was arriving, and so too was Leroy Fair, who struck it right footed. But he'd almost reached the top of the stand there. And well, look at Leroy Fair. He's having a right goal there. That's the opportunity again. Now, there's a lot of boos going on. Is it something to do with Mo Barrow? I don't know. Llorente having a pop now at Anthony Taylor. And it's not going down too well with the locals, I can tell you. Certainly not with this commentator. Leroy Fair was complaining about something. Was there a not the ball incident? I don't know. I didn't see anything wrong there. I think Swansea can say and do what they want. Here's Barrow trying to get it forward. Barrow now onto Llorente. Llorente on there. And he goes for the return here as Mo Barrow, but so too does goalkeeper Heaton, and did very well. Also Michael Keane helping out as well. Good defending there from everybody there. 0-0. It's a throw to Swansea, level with the Burnley area. Long towards Llorente, deep inside that penalty area. Comes to Cork. Cork out to Norton. Norton touches it back. Opportunity here. And it comes out to Kingsley, who tries the shot. It swerved a little bit in the air, but it was well taken very comfortably by Tom Heaton inside the last 10 minutes of what's been a pretty good first half, even for a 0-0 scoreline. Burnley 0, Swansea 0. And here is Tom Heaton with the kick. 0-0. Header flicked on. Boy was there. So too was Fer. That's a poor ball from Leroy Fer. 0-0 it is. And Barrow, I think, has spoke out of turn. And he's been called over to the referee. And this should be at least a booking. He's been constantly moaning since he performed that silly little dive earlier on, which he should have been booked for. Why is John Moss not booking him? He's having a word. He's telling Barrow to shut up and calm down. But he should be booking him here, Johnny Moss. He's been warned several times here. Mo Barrow should keep his big mouth shut and carry on and stop complaining. And so too should Guido. Absolutely. I can't understand why Mo Barrow has not been booked for his earlier misdemeanours. He can moan and complain, he can say what he wants, but I'm afraid to say he should be in the book for me. But there you go. 0-0. Leroy Fer to win the next one, and here comes Cork again. Midway inside his own half, he's got the free kick against Dean Marnie. He committed that really nasty little challenge the other night. And Mo Barrow now getting a lot of the bird from the Burnley supporters, and little wonder he has done nothing but moan all day. Fernandez trying to get that forward for Swansea, but Ben Mee cuts that out. Apart from that one blip where he almost let Llorente in, where he did let Llorente in, but Tom Heaton bailed him out. He's actually had an okay game. As a Burnley player gone down there, the referee's got to stop it now, surely. Barrow's got to put this out. Put it out, Mo Barrow. He's just playing on. And Boyd now trying to touch back, and if Barrow had scored, that would have been the most ironic thing of the season. And he's getting the bird from the Burnley fans, and who can blame them? There was a player clearly down. He can apologise now all he wants, but I'm afraid to say that Sam Vokes was down on the floor injured. Ball played in and it's knocked away. That to me is disrespectful to your opponent. Here is Kingsley though, on towards Cork. Cork tries to play to Barrow, who's not winning too many friends in this stadium. And here's Cork again, on the right foot from the left hand side. Header away. King couldn't take the risk. Can Loughton keep it out from being a corner? I don't think he can. It will be a corner to Swansea. Little dicey period as we come up towards 5 minutes to half time here. 0-0. But a good first half nonetheless. And we'll take a 5-minute break and then continue with the commentary in the second half. And really dicey moments here for Burnley. Can they just hold out to half time? Here's Grado on the charge, and here's a chance now for Marnie to lead out the charge. Little deflection. Here's Gray now, running at the defender. He's up against Norton. He's beaten him inside the area. Gray right foot, hitting straight at Fabianski, who down to his left. Gray again. Inside the area, on the right hand side, lofts it in, and Jack Cork came back with a great opportunity again for Andre Gray. Maybe he could have hit it towards the far post, and now Michael Keane having to chase with Llorente, pursuing him every step of the way, and he got it back to Tom Heaton. Good little passage of play there in the last 60 seconds or so. Really good defending first up from Burnley, and then the counter-attack from first of all Dean Marley and then Andre Gray was something very special. And it needed a save from the Paul Fabianski to prevent Burnley there from going ahead. And it's going to be a free kick to Burnley in a very dangerous position. Jack Cork is there as well. So free kick to the Clarets. We're inside the last minute of inside the last 5 minutes, I should say, of the first half. And here's Matt Martin for Burnley. On towards Michael Keane. Now David Jones on in turn to Ben Mee. Ben Mee knocking it long. Good play this, and well defended by Carl Norton. Played against Burnley in the 2009 playoffs at Wembley, which Burnley won of course by a goal to nil, but Norton played really well that day along with the other Kyle, of course, Kyle Walker. I'd have won there by Hernandez, but it's back with the goalkeeper, Fernandez I should say, and it's back with the goalkeeper Fabianski. This is the opportunity again to see the counter-attack from Burnley. Gray and Marley doing terrifically well, and this is what Gray's famous for. He's got the pace and the quality, and if there's a little bit of criticism to be aimed at Andre Gray, he's probably hit it too straight towards the goalkeeper. At the end he looks quite a good save, but when you look at it again from another angle and he's slowed down a little bit, it's actually quite a comfortable save. 3 minutes to go to half time. And I don't think there'll be too much in the way of stoppage time at the end of the first half, I would fancy, because the game's free-flowed a little bit. I know there's been the obvious dive from one or two others, but here's Sam Vokes breaking down the far side, and well defended again by Norton. What a good first half he's had again. He's a decent defender, Carl Norton, and a lot of people... I am impressed with Carl Norton as a player. I think he's a very, very capable defender. Now then, throw taken by Ward to Jones. Arfield now. We haven't seen too much of him. That's going to be in there towards Boyd. Gray was lurking by the penalty spot, deep inside that Swansea penalty area. Loughton heading the next ball on, and Jones to win the next one. But Swansea just about done enough there. 2 minutes to go to half time, and that's a long ball towards Mo Barrow, and he's kept it alive. Mo Barrow with a cross in towards Llorente inside the Burnley box now. Barrow is free, no one's picked him up. Barrow left hand side, and it was a poor cross really. It was just too high literally for anybody. Here's Britton now for Swansea, deep inside Burnley territory. Can Burnley hold out to half time? Kingsley knocks it in, and it's out, I think, for a corner. It is. Michael Keane for the empty time winning headers away, in a real danger now towards the end of the first half. And a corner kick to the Clarets. 0-0 it remains, but what a good watch it's been. So can Burnley now, as we come up towards the closing stages of the first half. Here's Kingsley from the short corner, and oh, it's a scramble, and Sammy Vokes just about on his own 6-yard box somehow scrambled it away. Oh, Burnley not making it easy again. May have missed the first header. Vokes then misheaded it. Fernandez was going in for the kill, and he just about got it away, Sam Vokes, with the overhead. Wasn't the best overhead kick you'll see in the world, but it was sufficient enough to get it to relative safety in the end. And it's going to be Wayne Ratledge with this corner now, this time on the far side for Swansea. And Matt is forward, and Fernandez is forward as well, and Matt with a touch from the penalty spot. It was kicked off the line. I think it might have been Scott Arfield, and it's knocked back in there, and it's, in fact, the flag has gone up anyway, so it wouldn't have counted. It was Fernandez who had the second shot, but the offside flag had gone up, I think, for an infringement. But Geordie and Matt there with a little deft flick, and Arfield, if it wasn't for Arfield's right foot, that would have been 1-0 Swansea. And that is the value of having at least a man on the post, and he's there in case the goalkeeper was beaten, and he was beaten by Geordie and Matt's effort. We're now into the time added on. We've got 1 minute signalled there by Anthony Taylor. The official timing of the Premier League, of course, now for this season is by Tag Huya. Very good maker of watches up and around the world. Very expensive ones, I have to say, but to keep a very good time. And the official timekeepers this season of the FA Premier League. Well, the Premier League. It used to be known as the FA Premier League, but now it's just the Premier League. Hard to say. I keep tempting to say Barclays, but they don't sponsor it anymore. We'll play 30 seconds of the 1 minute added on. We'll take a couple of minutes break, and then reconvene with the second half of this delayed commentary, which has been a very good watch so far, I have to be honest. And it breaks for Ward. Ward turns. Court wins the ball very well indeed. And now he picks the ball up, plays it out towards Kingsley on the far side, on the near side I should say. Back to Barrow. There we are, that's your lot for the first half. So a very good watch there at Turf Moor, but at the moment it's no goals. Andre Gray has had 2 good chances. Swansea have come close on a couple of occasions. We're going to take a couple of minutes. Llorente was looked good as well in the Swansea attack, but at the moment it's stalemate at Turf Moor here. It's Burnley 0, Swansea 0. We'll take a couple of minutes, and after that break we'll have full delayed commentary of the second half as the teams walk off at Turf Moor with the half-time scoreline: Burnley 0, Swansea City 0.
Conservatory roof, making it too cold in the winter and too hot in the summer? Replace it with a fully insulated live-in roof to give you a stunning plastered ceiling. Live-in roof gives you the flexibility to combine full glass panels in any position within the roof at no extra cost. To find out more, go to liveinroof.co.uk.
Well, welcome back as we are about to get the second half underway in just a second or two here at Turf Moor. And this commentary stream being brought to you, of course, by Ultraframe. Up to 50% off all our windows and doors. There was a little advert for you just before we came back to you for the second half. Just taking a couple of minutes out before reconvening for the second half. No changes, I believe, at half time, as the teams are still in the tunnel at the moment. In fact, Swansea are out first, and really the second half really has to be, I think the second half really will come more alive as it goes on. There's about 2,000 or so Swansea fans inside the ground this afternoon. Burnley is still waiting to come out of their changing room here at Turf Moor. As I say, no changes made by either side at the break. and that was a first half that was purely entertaining, and I have to say it was a very good first half. Let's hope the second half lives up to what happened in the first, and let's hope we have a good second half. We're just waiting Burnley to come out. Burnley fans out in full force. A lot of claret and blue Burnley shirts there this afternoon. It's quite mild. It's at the moment. The pitch has been heavily watered during the half-time interval, by the way, and I have to say it's been a very good watch first half, and I must tell you, but also it's been difficult as well. It really has been difficult underfoot as well. Ben Mee has slipped a couple of times during that first half, but so far at the moment it's the start of the second half. There's Sean Dyche just about to enter the cauldron, and we're just waiting now. John Moss, the referee, checking that all 22 players are ready to start, and Andre Gray will get us away. He'll have to side foot the ball back, and indeed he does. So the second half is underway. Sean Dyche just coming out of the tunnel as I see the game get underway. No changes from either side at half time, so it's the same 11s that took the field at the start. Burnley now attacking the Jimmy McElroy into the left, and Swansea to the David Fishwick stand, just with attacking where they're 2,500 Swansea supporters who have travelled a long way up the M5 and the M6 to Lancashire today from South Wales are congregated behind, and hopefully they'll have a safe journey back to the land of song, whatever happens this afternoon. And good to have them with us. There's Sean Dyche making his way down, and also he's barking out instructions, and he hasn't even reached the quadrant, his technical area. Long ball played in, and it's an easy one there for the England goalkeeper Tom Heaton, also Burnley skipper of course. And Sean Dyche now making his way towards the technical area. He's made it there, so a minute after the second half started, he's back where he is now in his technical area, and off we go again. Jordy and Matt putting that into touch, and it was the first throw of the second half, and it'll be in Burnley territory, in Swansea territory to Burnley, level almost with the penalty area, about 10 yards away from the edge of the Swansea box, but in a very promising position. If Loughton can get a good throw there, well, he's yielded another throw a little bit closer in this time, off Leroy Fer. Big opportunity now for the Clarets. Can they take the advantage here? Great chest in inside the penalty area. Has to try and turn Kingsley. Kingsley will yield another throw for Burnley. They're getting closer now. It's about 5 yards in from the corner quadrant on the far side, deep inside Swansea City territory here. And what an opportunity this is now for Burnley, really, to take the ball by the horns. A long throw by Loughton, flicked on by Vokes. Cork was there, he got it half away. Marnie went in to chase it on the edge of the area. Now Jones has it. Back to Loughton. It has to turn back though, unfortunately, and it will come to Michael Keane, who in turn will knock it on to Ben Mee. That gives us really room to pick his man, and he finds it to Keane, and they're playing a little bit of chicken here, Keane and Mee, and in the end, safe option, Tom Heaton. 0-0. It remains here. Seaton with a kick, right-footed, well over the halfway line, 3/4 of the halfway way up the field, in fact, and Kingsley knocks it forward. Flicked on again, and a little bit of pushing and shoving going on. Britain comes away with it. Now Jack Cork has it. Cork knocks it long. Laurenti on the chase here for Burnley. 0-0 it is on this mild Saturday afternoon. Laurenti now into Routledge, tries to play the 1-2 inside the area, but good defending again from Messrs Keane and Mee. Offside against Sam Vokes, and Burnley will be happy there just to see it out there a little bit there, because that looked a very dangerous attack there by Swansea, and it is a free kick to them, and it's back with Łukasz Fabianski, the Polish goalkeeper, and we're hoping he doesn't pull off the best Jan Tomaszewski impression and pull off a load of saves. We hope he'll be beaten. But here is Wayne Routledge up against Ben Mee. Ben Mee now has to be a lot stronger, I think, in the second half. He made 1 or 2 schoolboy errors in that first half. He's never played in the top division as a centre-back before. I mean, he lost his place in the side when Stephen Wood came back towards the end of that Premier League season. So he lost his place as a left-back. And Burnley do have the likes of Jutkiewicz, Johan Bergen-Johnson. They do have Tendai Darika as well on the bench. But the problem they've got, Burnley, is they haven't got enough strength in depth. I know they're going to sign that Stefan Dufal from Anderlecht, who amazingly has chosen to side for the Clarets from instead of them from the Middle East, as the ball was floated in there from the near side. Ben Mee, flying header, even though he was under no great pressure. Ball up towards Andre Gray, who's just fed on a little bit on scraps at the moment. And forward towards Routledge now from Norton. Routledge cuts inside, tries to play towards Barrow on the far side. Barrow expresses his appreciation for the attempted pass there by Routledge. Amat on the chase against Gray, and Gray will force Amat into conceding the throw. Gray takes quickly and gets Loughton on his way. Back to Gray, far side. Burnley now showing a little bit of urgency. Gray plays it in, and a good header, one by Marnie, and it's on the roof of the net. And that was a free header as well. Fabianski knows that was a chance. Dean Marnie, good header, just too high. But a lovely work down the right by both Gray and Loughton. A lovely little dink crossing from the right hand side, and well, virtually unchallenged was Dean Marnie, and on the roof of the net it went. Big opportunity there for the Clarets. 5 minutes into the second half, that's better. Here's Leroy Ferdo for Swansea, just up against it a little bit down the Welsh side, and here they are again. Leroy Fer in towards Cork. Cork on in turn now for Hernandez rather. Hernandez has got Norton on the overlap round the right hand side. Routledge is offering support, and this is Routledge by the touchline, the right hand touchline. Tries to take on Ward, and it's back with Norton again. Dangerous looking cross. Ethan Kane didn't get there. Barrow tries the shot. It hit Loughton in the face, I think. And well, that's the first major mistake that Tom Eaton's made. He came for a ball. I don't think he needed to come and fist away, but we'll be off another look on the replay. Could the defender have got there, and could the goalkeeper have left it? It's a teasing little ball in from the right hand side. I think King could have dealt with that, to be fair. And Tom Eaton, I have to say, has got away with one. Keane had that all the way. Why did Heaton have to come and try and fist that is an absolute mystery. And what a good block there in the end by Matt Labs, and that bailed out his goalkeeper, no trouble at all. And meanwhile the game's had to stop. Obviously Mo Barrow again, I think he's committed a foul, so a free kick to Burnley on halfway, and it's Marnie that takes it. And what was that all about? That was a poor free kick. Nobody was ready for that. And here's Barrow. It's just cheap possession, and you don't want to be doing that. The Clarets don't want to be doing that at the moment. Here's Leon Britton inside the centre circle. Plays it out to Norton down the right hand side. Danger here for Burnley. Norton with a shot into the Swansea finds behind that goal, and a goal kick it is. Right footed. I think it might have been an attempted shot. I think he meant to have the shot. Didn't cut inside, and I don't know whether he meant it as a shot. I think it was intended to be a cross. Answers on a postcard, but it's a goal kick. And Carl Norton knows that was a good chance. Here's Big Tom Heaton with the goal kick, right footed, over the halfway line. Remember, you can listen to this commentary and all the other live games, of course, and the delayed Burnley games that we might cover anytime you want on the JB Claret 1983 YouTube channel. And you can still listen if you still got the Euros 2016 fever. You can. Oh, and look at that from Jody and Matt. That was almost WWF wrestling style, WWE wrestling. That was a clear shove to the ground, and no wonder John Moss was ready and waiting with the yellow card. It's a clear booking, clear obstruction. Jody and Matt. It was almost as if he was playing at Twickenham on the Millennium, on the Arms Park. It's a rugby tackle. Look at him. He's got. It's an absolute. It's not. I mean, he's playing the national sport of Wales, but it's the wrong sport. That was a foul right out. I mean, in rugby that would have been a good tackle, but in football it's a free kick and a yellow card. And what an opportunity this is. Now this has got to be good from David Jones. It has to be good. Ward is forward, Mee is forward, Keane is forward, Arfield and Vokes are there lurking as well. Boyd on the... This is to the right of the penalty area. That couple of yards from the edge of the penalty area, in fact. It'll be right-footed. It'll be left-footed rather. Jones whips it in into the area. It's nodded behind. It will be a Burnley corner. Came off Kingsley. So a chance here now for the Clarets. If they can get that one goal lead and get ahead in this game, then there's every chance there's an upset to be caused. Just bearing in mind who they've got coming up in the next two games, Liverpool and Chelsea away. This is important. Jones again, left-footed from the corner, and he's flicked on, and keep going. Oh, they looked a short ball. They looked a clear short ball by Leroy Fair, and the referee, I have to say, was in a very good position. Was it up tongue? Look at that. Look at him. That's a tongue in my book. That's a penalty, and the referee, John Moss, has got a decision wrong, in my opinion. There was clear tugging there by Leroy Fair, and everybody in the ground saw that. Apart from John Moss. I can't believe this referee. How is he allowed to referee in top flight football? It amazes me, to be honest with you. If he can't spot easy shirt tugs like that, and his linesman on the near side, it's a disgrace. That's a disgraceful decision, and John Moss, no wonder he's getting the bird from the Burnley fans. But it's got them roused up now. Here's Norton at the other end. Norton, good tackle there by Scott Arfield, and Arfield now comes away better from Burnley. It's got them going again, got them buzzing. Good turn by Gray, but there was just nobody in support. In fact, he's got the free kick, but should there have been a penalty? John Moss, hang your head in shame, my friend. How many more decisions did we not get? Like the ball had travelled out of play, but Ian Wone and Sean Dyche and Tony Lockwood must be thinking, what do we have to do to get a decision in this Premier League? That looked a clear penalty. We'll have to look at Sean Dyche's take on things afterwards. That will be, that's for sure. But it's a sad way, really. I mean, if a referee, John Moss, who's, how is he a top level referee? I will never know. That was a clear penalty. Everybody in his dog. There's about 20,000 inside Turf Moor today. Here's Gray inside the penalty area. Gray has the shot, and I think the whistle had gone anyway. We forced the save out of Fabianski, but the flag had gone up anyway for an offside flag. But how is that not a penalty? That Michael Keane, it's a clear shirt pull. And well, John Moss, that is disgraceful refereeing, I have to say. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have fancied Fabianski from 12 yards against Vauxhall Gray taking a penalty, but that should have been a penalty kick. It looked a clear tug, and when you see it again, and I've seen 2 or 3 replays of it, and here's Andre Gray, and look at the goalkeeper, Russian blood. Now did he handle? That looked a clear handball. It looked a clear handball, and then he's gone down as if he's been shot by Lee Harvey Oswald. What is this goalkeeper doing? It's a clear handball. It should be an instant red card because it's outside the box. In my opinion, he's gone out there, deliberately handled the ball, and then he's sort of faked an injury. The referee's got to do something about this. Look at it, it's hit the hand. That's a penalty. That's a clear, at least a yellow card. And then the theatrics there. There's no injury there. You know, and you can tell he's faked that. Russia blood to the head, and it clearly hits him on the hand. No doubt about it. And then he's feigned an injury, and no wonder again Burnley fans are up in arms, because to me that was a deliberate handball. In my opinion, whether I'm right or wrong, that, in my opinion, was a deliberate handball, and then he's feigned an injury because he's got back up and on his feet again, but he's gone rolling around as if he's been shot by Lee Harvey Oswald. He's got the referee's sympathy vote. Burnley, in my opinion, should have had a free kick and not a throw. Here's Stephen Ward now for the Clarets. High drama in the first 15 minutes of the second half. Should Burnley have had a penalty? Should Fabianski have been at least yellow carded for a deliberate handball, if not sent off? Here's Grado, can't thread it through. Arfield is there. The tension has been cranked up that little bit more now, and Ben Mee will get it back to his goalkeeper Tom Heaton. My word, what a game we've got on our hands now. It just needs a goal, and I tell you what, if Burnley are to get it, the roof will come off this famous old ground. Vokes to flick it on. Here's Arfield, and Vokes is through the middle. Good control. Vokes right foot on. It's a save from Fabianski diving away to his left. It's only a corner, but Vokes hit that with great venom, and the Polish goalkeeper reacted magnificently. You have to say that. If he was a villain about a minute or two ago, he was certainly Swansea's hero there. Good save. Vokes hit it well. He couldn't have hit it as truer and as good as that. Struck it with his right foot. Struck it true. But Fabianski, good hand, diving away to his left. Palmed it out for a corner. And Ian Wone and Sean Dyche know that was a glorious opportunity. Coming up towards an hour gone, there's going to be a change. Gylfi Sigurdsson wasn't fit enough to start today. He's going to come on for the remaining half an hour or so. That remains. He's going to take Leon Britton's place. Done very well, Leon Britton, I have to say. But there's been a lot of talking points there. Should Burnley have had a penalty? Should Fabianski have been at least booked if not sent off for a handball? It looked a clear handball to me. And we'll just have to see, won't we? I mean, that was. I find that ridiculous as the corner came in and again comes to nothing in the end. But Fabianski, he must be. If he was a cat, he'd be on his 7th or 8th life now. By now, David Jones has put in his okay deliveries, but at the moment, his midfield player, and certainly in the last. I think Marnie has been the better of the two centre midfielders. I don't think Jones, apart from the set plays, has been good enough. Marnie's trying to win it, but he can't win it. And Marnie, he's been there and everywhere. That's got to be said. Half an hour to play, but my word, what a first 15 minutes of the second half we've had here at Turf. And here's Tom Heaton. 0-0. But Burnley should have had a penalty, should be in front by now. Sam Vokes has had a good effort. He's never scored in the Premier League, incidentally. Arfield touching it back now to Stephen Ward. On his turn again. So Gylfi Sigurdsson now on for Swansea. Leon Britton is the man he replaced. Ball forward up towards the head of Vokes. Tries to flick it on towards Gray. Boyd will chase the next one. Boyd takes it inside the area. First touch really let him down. Loughton on the overlap on the right hand side. But Boyd goes in. Tries the shot to hit the defender. It'll break here. And it was Loughton who shot it almost into the side netting when his right foot just sort of lashed it wide at the near post, I'm afraid. The far post, I'm afraid. Boyd had tried the initial shot. There was a half-hearted shout for handball, and Loughton just lashed it wide, and in the end, big opportunity going begging again for the Clarets. They've had a few of these, and oh, the agony on Tony Loughran, Ian Wone and Sean Dyche's face say it all. What an opportunity, and again Fabianski gets away with one. He's having all the luck that's going at the moment, that big Polish goalkeeper. Here's Leroy Fair in the centre of the midfield. It goes down a little too easily for the referee's liking. It's play on, and here's Arfield on the right hand side, and Arfield keeps it going very well, but he's running out of options there, and it's now with Swansea City. And they're looking to get players forward, and here's Routledge. Routledge now over the halfway line, skips away from Scott Arfield's challenge. Now he's up against Ben Mee. Routledge now towards the centre of the field. Lorente tries to play the ball into Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson's trip from behind, according to the referee, and it will be a free kick. George Boyd actually accepts the decision with good grace, and a free kick in a dangerous position for Swansea City, and they've got Gylfi Sigurdsson behind this one, and he's a very good set-piece specialist. We've seen it down the years in 2 spells with the Swans, and of course Tottenham as well. So real proper danger now for Burnley. If Sigurdsson scores now, Burnley have really got an uphill struggle then. There are about 5 in the wall plus 1 Swansea player, looking to create a little bit of space for Sigurdsson to get it up and over the wall. So into the 63rd minute now. And Sigurdsson! And a good save down and away to his right. It was a low free kick. And goalkeeper Tom Heaton had to get down and make a smart save. He wasn't to know whether the ball, I think it might have been travelling wide. And yeah, he couldn't have been sure whether that was going in or not. And he had to hook it out for a front corner, which was the best thing he could have done. So it's going to be a corner Sigurdsson to take, far side. Sigurdsson whips it into the danger zone. Flicked on. Oh, what a chance inside the penalty box for Fernandez, the Argentinian man, from what, 3 yards out, way inside the 6-yard box, virtually on the goal line. Good flick on by Cork, and he's hit it over the bar. And is that? And is the, well, you wonder if that missed chance on another day that had gone in. With Burnley have come back from that, that could be the catalyst for Burnley's. That could be the catalyst for Burnley now. We're going to see another change here. Well, Barrow is going to come off. And a bit surprised that Mo Barrow's come off, but well, there you go. It's he's done all right, but he infuriated me in that first half with that pure utter dive. It was a pure utter dive, let's be honest. That's a foul by Leroy Fer, who's going to run the risk of being booked if he shows any more dissent under the new laws of the game. The new FIFA rules, where you can't show dissent now to a referee even if a decision goes against you. Well, he certainly took Boaks from behind there. And it's a free kick to Burnley. Can they make something of it? They've had a few good chances here in this second half already. Now would be a good time to start. Ball played in towards the penalty area. Ben Mee was lurking, but he couldn't find him in the end. And a goal kick it is to Swansea with 65 minutes gone. We're almost halfway through the second half. And Hernandez will realise what a chance he's just wasted there. Could that come back to haunt the Swans? Maybe so. Tom Heaton was beaten, there's no doubt about that, but it's still 0-0. Burnley's still in the game. And that's the important thing at the moment to think about. As the long ball forward, Ben Mee winning the header. Sigurdsson flicking it on, but he's opposite number Ward. In there to tidy it up for Burnley. Former Wolves man, of course, and he's back with goalkeeper Tom Heaton. Burnley do look a little bit short in the midfield area. They do lack a bit of pace on the flanks, although they do use the flanks very well with the team and the quality they do have in the Bundes. They've won another free kick, winning a succession of free kicks now. Wayne Routledge has conceded the latest of them, taken quickly down the near side to Ward, and Ward onto Arfield. This is danger here for Swansea, and Arfield did well, yielded the corner off the new captain. Jack Corky is the vice captain now of Swansea City. And a corner kick, big chance now for Burnley. If they can get in front here, what a fillip this could be. And then Swansea then will be playing catch up, and Burnley then will be able to defend with all their might, but they need to score, you get the feeling. And David Jones with the right foot sends it in. It's not a good one this time. It's headed out with by Fer. Here's Jones again onto Arfield. Arfield on the left of the D, and Jones gets a good decent cross in again. Mee was jumping, Boyd was going for it, and it's knocked away. And now a check. Oh, that's well, Ward had to do that, I suppose. Take one for the team. It's a definite yellow card. He absolutely tripped his man, and that is a foul. And Montero, who was a very, very pacey player, don't forget, absolutely was hacked there, and Ward knew it. He knew it. He had his hand up and acknowledged that he knew he had to do what he had to do, and he knew he was going to be booked for it. So fair play, a bit of honesty in the game, and it was an honest challenge. He had to make that challenge because Montero was running rapidly towards that Burnley penalty area. Well, he would have been if he hadn't have intervened the way he had. So 0-0. But a very good game here, live, the late commentary of the game here between Burnley and Swansea on a very mild Saturday afternoon in deepest Lancashire. 67 minutes of the match gone, and at the moment we haven't got a goal to bring you at the moment, but it's been a lot of endeavour. There's been plenty of good stuff, and here is Ward. Has he kept that in? Yes, he has, but it's a throw now to Swansea. Just went behind the line. Tension on the supporter space. There's a few nails being bitten there below in the stands. Laurenti's been a little bit anonymous, I have to say, in the second half. I must say that. And but Burnley, certainly for the first 20 minutes or so of the second half, have been the better side. They've been the most dominant side so far. And here's Gray, halfway through the second half, gives it away rather cheaply to Gylfi Sigurdsson, and now Kingsley to get it forward now for Swansea, who have been hanging in there for most of the second half defensively, and have just about hung on in there. Fur to touch it on, but again Dean Marley breaking up play, and he's done that to perfection all the way through the match. Jones on now, onto Boyd, Boyd on to Loughton, back to Keane. A word or two about Dean Marney. I think if we were to choose a Clarets man in the match, if there was to be a poll in the stadium right now of who would be the man in the match for the Clarets, you'd have to give it to Dean Marney. He's done an exceptional job so far in that Clarets midfield. To see he's a midfielder of 32, having another top flight campaign again at his age, he's done terrifically well. But there's no doubt about it, they do miss the guile of Joey Barton in that midfield, Burnley. Tony Lochran in the well in conversation with Sean Dyche down on the touchline, Greenland in the background as I can see, and they're just looking at ways maybe just to change things a little bit. They do have Goodmunson of course on the bench, and he's always a good option to have when things aren't working out. So a little bit of pressure legs might just put a little extra springing Burnley step. Here's Ben Mee, 0-0 at the moment. Swansea of course have used two substitutes, Britton and Barrow have been substituted, and Gylfi Sigurdsson and Montero have come on. Here's Scott Arfield now for Burnley, gets Andre Gray away, edge of the area, faced by two Swans defenders mind, and here is Gray, tries to take on Fernandez, who missed that glorious opportunity of course at the right hand end of the ground, the David Fitchwick end of the ground. Ward gets the cross in, it's a good one, and folks was jumping in there, so too was Dean Marney, going for glory, and Montero now, who's like a whippet when he gets going, and he tries to start another move going, and he tries to bring Kingsley into the game, and he gets it to Montero. Montero will run and run and run, and that's a good ball over the top towards Llorente. Claim a handball against him. I think they get a throw anyway, or is it a free kick? Well, I didn't think there was much wrong with that challenge. But here's an opportunity again, ball played in, it was folks going for the first header, and in fact if he'd have left it for Marney might have had a free header himself, and he might have scored from that. Burnley have a throw and free kick for a handball against Llorente. We're inside the last 20 minutes here, and quite honestly anything could happen now. It's been that sort of a game. Well, let's hope it goes the right side of the coin for Burnley, as Tom Heaton takes another kick, right footed, over the halfway line it goes. Harfield winning the header, but Cork on challenge wins the next ball. On to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson touches it on. Norton, good turn, turns away, and of course good challenge there by Ben Mee. Fair tackle there against Llorente. He knows he's been in the game this afternoon, that's for sure. Here's Ward now trotting forward, and that looks as if there was a handball there but not given. And here's Routledge on to Llorente, back to Routledge. He's only got Llorente now bursting into the middle, so too is Montero. Good header won by him, and it was a good header won at the back post, and in the end it was straight in the arms of Tom Heaton. But Montero's got base to burn, this kid, he really has. There were only two in the middle, but he managed to pick out Montero, who's not renowned as a tall player, more of an on the deck sort of player he is. Not renowned for high balls, but knocking high on long balls, but very high on skill. Burnley about to make their first change after 73 minutes. Johan Berg Goodmunson is about to enter the fray here. 0-0. Throw taken quickly in towards Folks. On again now. Marney in the area. Oh, he looked as if he was fouled there. Referee not interested. I have to say he was right on the edge of the area, and I thought Dean Marney was tagged. Referee playing on, and here's a chance now for Swansea. They've got away with another decision again, I have to be honest. And Routledge slips. No way. And in the world that was going to be a free kick. Dean Marnie gets it forward up towards Gray. Now Vokes wins it on towards Gray, but again knocked away by Jody and Matt. But should there have been a penalty, perhaps, maybe even more? John Moss was in another good position. I'd like to see that one again. I thought Marnie was tagged from behind, and I thought that was a definite, if not a free kick, if not a penalty, definitely a free kick. Dean Marnie can't believe it. I think he should have had at least a free kick. It was right on the edge of the penalty area. Whether it was in or out to the D, I'm not quite sure. It happened at quite a big speed. But that was a very dangerous thing for Leroy Fair to do, and I think he's got away with at least a booking there, and at least a free kick against his name, if not a penalty. Here's Gray, shoots, and shoots over the top from just to the right of the goal inside the penalty area, with his right foot, of course. And he's a handful when he gets in the mood, Gray. Good header won again by Loughton. Gray had Jody and Matt on his back and did want to actually get a shot in, but he was never troubling goalkeeper Fabianski in that sense. So we're going to see Johan Berg Munson. We're into the 75th minute of the contest, and the Clarets now make their substitution. Delayed match commentary of this Saturday of Burnley versus Swansea, a very mild Saturday afternoon in deepest Lancashire. 0-0. But is there going to be a twist in the tail? Can Burnley get the goal? Johan Berg Munson has replaced, I think, Scott Arfield there. So it will be. So it looks as if Arfield has been replaced. So let's see how this will work out now. Here's Jones, the referee's blown. There was no advantage forthcoming. It is a free kick to the Clarets, but should Burnley have had a free kick on the edge of the box? Let's have a look at it. It was definitely outside, but it's... Oh, now then. Was it on the line? Because it's on the line. That has to be a penalty. I'd like to see a close-up of that. Certainly Burnley were in unison for the appeals, and John Moss couldn't have been no more than 6 yards away. I just find it baffling that he doesn't give that decision. He's got to get these decisions right, John Moss. He really has, and I think it's unbelievably poor. Munson running hard, and the free kick. In fact, George Boyd was the man he took off. Scott Arfield is still on for the record. So Frodo Burnley on the halfway line. Inside the final 15 minutes of the game. And George Boyd is actually still on the field. It's Arfield that he's replaced. Ball in towards the penalty area. Folks going in, Gray going in as well. And he just couldn't drop there. But Johan Berg Munson really making an impact. But here comes Swansea now with Wayne Routledge. He's got plenty of pace to burn, but he's got plenty of experience and guile, this fella. And that is a poor ball. That's a lot of Cork. Burnley did win the interception, but Cork was still like a brick wall there. And here's Leroy Fair. He's got away with a couple here today. Leroy Fair, potential penalty not given against him, and a potential hack at Dean Marnie on the edge of the area. Lorente wins the header from the cross from Montero, but it's an easy one again for Tom Heaton. And we're now into the 77th minute, and there's still no knowing who's going to win this game. What a cracking game we've had here. But yet no goals yielded at the moment. Burnley have come closest in the second half by none. And of course Fernandez has come the closest to putting Swansea in front as well, with a 3-yard miss over the top of the crossbar. Boy winning that one rather well. Give the Clarets 10 out of 10 for effort and sheer work rate, but I'll tell you what, if work rate and effort won football matches, Burnley would be top of the Premier League and they'd be doing a Leicester. But at the moment it's all about goals, and at the moment no goals have been scored. And yeah, again, none have been conceded yet, so you've got to look at it from a positive point of view. Heaton's kick 3/4 of the way up the field, but it's knocked away by Kingsley. Kingsley's ball, that will come to Tom Heaton, who can pick that up, no problem. And it's coming up towards 78 minutes now of this game. Second half almost coming into the business end of things, and Burnley holding in there. How they're holding in there at 0-0, well, only we would know. And here's Jack Cork, delayed commentary of this Burnley Swansea game here this Saturday afternoon, and it's Jack Cork for Burnley. On to Routledge. Routledge turns. Good play again by Swansea. On to Llorente. Back to Routledge. Routledge turns again. Finds out, getting over to the far side. And here's Montero. Pace to burn this fella. Whips in a decent cross. Llorente again winning another header. It's just gone wide of the post. Inside the 6-yard box. He's winning a couple of these headers against Llorente. He's been rather isolated for most of his second half, but now in the last sort of 5 minutes he's won a couple of headers inside that 6-yard area, and luckily from Burnley's point of view they've either gone wide or into the goalkeeper's midriff. As we see again, and I think Montero's come on, he's made a huge difference to Swansea's attack as far as I can make out. Coming up towards 10 minutes to go, plus any stoppage time that will be added on at the end of this game. Burnley should have had 2 or 3 decisions as well. John Moss has been poor in that respect. So Llorente battles with Burnley and absolutely cleaned him out, but it's a throw anyway to Burnley because it did come off the Spaniard last of all. Riedlin, plenty to say for himself in that technical area. He's on his own shits now, he's on one knee. Very charismatic manager is Guidolin, but there we go. Here's Routledge, Alan Curtis is his assistant. He's a great service to Swansea Football Club. Now here's a chance for. Oh, here's a chance now. Oh, that's a dive. That's a pure dive, and the referee bought it. Absolutely ridiculous. That should be a yellow card to Montero and not to Matt Loughton. Loughton just slipped. Simple as that. And then Montero has done a 6.5. Look, Loughton has not touched him at all. That, I'm afraid to say, that is a pure piece of cheating. And a great player he is, and he could have run on there. He had the balance, he had balance, and he decided to fall over as if he'd been shot. And that is a ridiculous. But why do players do that? Why do the foreign players need to dive and cheat and simulate? It's an absolute disgrace. And Swansea have got a free kick, which they've hardly merited in my opinion, and also Montero's antics have got Matt Loughton wrongly in my view into the book. Free kick taken by Sigurdsson. Heaton gets a punch, a little bit of justice perhaps there for Burnley as the shot comes in from Kingsley and it's gone behind for a goal kick, in fact gone down the exit in the cricket field stand for a goal kick. Paulo Montero, what was that all about? Montero, what was that all about? It was a pure dive. You cannot dive. He's got away with it scot-free. Poor old Matt Loughton, who's done nothing wrong, gets a yellow card. Should be a yellow card the other way for pure cheating. That's cheating in my book, and it should have been a yellow card. But hey, what do we know? Only John Moss will know, and I think how he's still refereeing in the top league in the world is pathetic. And I think John Moss should resign as a referee because I'm afraid he's not up to the job at the moment. But let's get back to the game. Here's Norton. Norton knocks it inside. Leroy Fer. We'll be discussing John Moss's performance on a new programme we got on Monday night, the Football League Review, and I will be discussing John Moss further. Here's Montero, the little cheating and diving player, and he plays it in. Oh, good effort. Good save from Heaton, but he's been turned in by Leroy Fer, and heartbreak for Burnley after 82 minutes. It was Montero who clearly conned the referee 2 minutes ago. He made the cross. Llorente won another header. Tom Heaton could only parry it. Diving away to his left, and in came Leroy Fer, formerly of Norwich and Queen's Park Rangers, to knock it into an empty net from literally 4 yards out. And it's heartbreak for the Clarets. It's a good move. Good run there by Montero, who really has made a difference since coming on. Good save initially from Heaton. Could he have done more? Was there a little deflection there on the header from Burnley? Comes off his arm, which makes it a little bit more awkward, I suppose, for Tom Heaton. But let's give Leroy Fer a little bit of credit. He's got away with a couple of decisions today, Leroy Fer. He should have had a penalty given against him. He should have had a definite yellow card for hacking down Money. He got away with that as well. And isn't that ironic? He tucks that into the back of the net when he's got away with 2 clear referee decisions. And there's no justice in this Premier League, I tell you. 83 minutes gone, it's still in there for Burnley. His boy tucks it in. Gray's there inside the 6-yard area. Good defending, I think, there from Jody Amat to put Gray off. But Burnley in an instant could have equalised. George Boyd, good control here. Liverpool played in there into the area by Ward. Boyd does well, gets to the bar, crosses it in. Gray just couldn't get it out from under his feet. And to be fair, that was good defending by Jody Amat. That was pretty good defending. Just did enough there to put Andre Gray off. That was good cutting defending. Wily old defensive play there, and Jody Amat. We'll give him a bit of credit. So it's all or nothing now for Burnley. They've got to attack now. They're chasing the game, and in a game they thought would be a winnable one. And you've got to bear in mind that Liverpool are going to come to the turf next week, and then they've got to go to Chelsea, and I just can't see us picking up points from either of those two games, because Liverpool do look awesome. They looked awesome. They beat Barcelona 4-0 at Wembley in a pre-season friendly a week ago, and I fancy them to do a job on Arsenal tomorrow, but it's looking very increasingly like we're going to end up probably with no points to show for it, unless we can get some reinforcements in the next week or so. We are going to get that Stephen Defoe from Anderlecht. That will be a great signing. He's a top class player, and he was courted for many years under Sir Alex Ferguson. Here's Gudmundsson. Oh, he just couldn't get it out of his feet. Good tackle coming back there from Jack Cork. He's had a good match on his return to turf ball, one has to say. And, Swansea get it forward up towards Gylfi Sigurdsson. Good flick on again by him into the path of the goal scorer. Fair picks out Montero. He's got Kingsley on the overlap if he chooses. This is Kingsley. Yes, far side. Montero. Apart from one moment of madness, calling the referee to booking Loughton has actually done really well, and it's probably made the difference in terms of Swansea's attack. And it was a quality cross, one must say, for Llorente, and it gets a little deflection off Ben Mee's forearm and makes it awkward for Heaton. And Leroy Fair, isn't that ironic? He gets away with two stonewall decisions against him, and ends up scoring what could now be a decisive blow in the game. But Burnley shouldn't be downhearted. We're inside last 4.5 minutes of the second half. Can Burnley get the equaliser? They have been very unfortunate. They've worked so hard again. As I said about 3 or 4 minutes ago, if there was a league for work rated effort, Burnley would be winning in handstand. It's a goal kick, amazingly. Well, that looked as if it came off the Swansea defender last. Gudmundsson making his views perfectly clear to the assistant. He couldn't have been no more than 2 yards away. Swansea now going to eat up a bit of time here. They're going to bring on Angel Rangel. Wayne Routledge has had a decent game in there, being told to hurry up because I'll add on time on, says Mr. Moss, but I'm afraid Mr. Moss hasn't won too many friends with the Burnley fans, and certainly this commentator here today. 4 minutes to go. Angel Rangel on, and there's still a little bit of time left for Burnley to get themselves an equaliser. And there's going to be a change on there. Jones been taken off, and amazingly Lucas Zukovic, I'm surprised he's come on. He hasn't scored a league goal in his Burnley career. David Jones, I have to say, apart from his set piece deliveries, has had a poor match. He's looked well off the pace. He's been if you had to choose a poll on who was the best central midfielder for Burnley today, David Jones would be outfought and outclassed in every single poll going, and be placed by this fellow on the ball, Dean Marney. And Marney now on to Gudmundsson. Looks like they're going to go 3 up front. Here's Gray on the far side. Jukovic and Vokes now in the centre. Burnley have to score. Can they get a point out of it? They've got to throw men forward. Swansea look as if they're going to be content with the 1 goal at the moment. And away from home, that's usually can be a dangerous score, but it can also be a good score. As Gudmundsson's cross deflects, took a huge deflection. It will be a corner. And it came off Kingsley. 3 minutes to go. Can Burnley get themselves the equaliser? Burnley 0, Swansea City 1. Leroy Fair after 83 minutes. And the corner whipped in, and it was a decent corner. It was nodded away now at the near post. And that's going to be a throw. First opportunity that Gudmundsson has had to take a set piece. Just couldn't get it out towards the near post. Gudmundsson knocks it in there high and long, and Vokes is there. Chances here for Gray, but Norton was there first there for Swansea, and it's out for another throw for Burnley, and they're just winning all the second balls when they need to here. Carl Norton winning another one there. He's done pretty well, I have to say, the former Sheffield United man. Ball thrown into the area, headed back, and it's going to be Fabianski's, unfortunately. 2 minutes to go. Burnley not out of this yet. Sean Dyche cupping his hands, asking for more. He knows that they're not out of this by any means. This is the goal. Good save from Heaton, and it was an awkward one because it just deflects there off Benby's hand, and well, it's an easy tap in for Leroy Fair, but isn't that ironic? He could have had 2 penalties perhaps given against him. Instead he's got away with both them, and then to rub salt into the wound has sort of scored what could now prove to be the winning goal. And it's a real shame really from Burnley's point of view, as Swansea have it deep inside the Burnley half. Montero just slowing it down. We're inside the last minute of the 90, and Montero whips a good crossing again, but Benby knocks it away. And now Jukovic gets the bounce of the ball this time and gets Boyd on his way down the near side. George Boyd for Burnley, who hasn't really performed to the levels that we know he can play it. One ball hit forward and hopeful by Ward. Flicked on in there towards Marnie. Sure, he was fouled. Yes, he was. Fernandez, the guilty party, yellow card. Now, if Marnie had got the decision, the earlier decision, or maybe Keane should have had the shirt pulled, then we might have had. It might have been a different tale, but he's absolutely kicked out at Marnie. That's a clear, dangerous foul. Referee, for once in this game, has got a decision right. But he has been poor in the main in the second half. Tony Lockwood, Sean Dyche, Ian Wold looking on. We're now into stoppage time at the end of the game. There's going to be an extra 4 minutes to be added on. My assistant referee, Anthony Taylor. Johan Bergen Munson will take the 3 kick. 5 in the Swansea wall. A wall of 5 all white. For a wall of white and black. 5 in that wall. It's going to be Johan Gudmundsson, the Iceland international. We played a key part in knocking England out of the Euro 2016. Gudmundsson, left foot, hit the wall, comes to Marty, first time, right foot, deflection! It's now been said. Fox knocks it back in, and in the end, Fabianski somehow holds on. Oh, that was a sort of save Jan Tomaszewski would have been proud of. How has he got off with that one? Takes a huge deflection, and somehow, almost Tomaszewski-like, palms it away, and frustration upon frustration for Burnley and Sean Dyche. Oh my word. He's got away with a few today, and he knows it, Fabianski. Oh, he goddamn knows it. It wasn't a great free kick. Gudmundsson hits the wall, and then he hits this with sheer pivot. It comes off Leroy Fair. My goodness, he's had 9 lives today as well as the goal. And the Burnley fans thought it was there, and so did I. And that goalkeeper has been a bit of a villain. And there's a player gone down. It's Leroy Fair, and the referee's just making sure that he comes off the field. He's getting a burr from the Burnley fans. It's not been Burnley's second half at all. They've been the better side as far as I'm concerned in the second half, and then some disgraceful refereeing, I have to say, from Jonathan Moss, not giving Burnley a clear penalty and potentially a second penalty when Dean Marnie was hooked on the edge of the area. Possibly a free kick with play 2 minutes into 4. They probably want to add on another minute for Leroy Fair's alleged injury, shall we say. After this commentary, we'll bring you what Sean Dyche has to say, and I'm sure you'll have a few choice words to say in his post-match interviews afterwards. Here's Jukovic for Burnley. Back to Gudmundsson. Plays it back into the mix once again. Oh, and Marnie nearly laying it in there for Vokes. Good opportunity there for Burnley. We've played with about 90 seconds of the 4 to play, and then it's down to John Moss's discretion. Will there be another chance here for Burnley? Tom Heaton has it. Swansea Parliamenti have got everybody back in their own half now, and it's got to be one here by Jukovic. No, but Kingsley won it in the end and knocks it out for a throw. Sean Dyche taking possession, gives it straight to Matt Loughton, who will get on with it. Loughton to me, halfway line. Everybody from Swansea back in their own half virtually. Into the penalty area it goes. Jokovic chipped in there. Good defending again by the Swans. They've brought everybody back virtually. And here is Michael Keane once again. Keane now has to get it in right footed into the penalty area. Marnie was in there. He couldn't break for Boyd. He just thumped up the field, and now Ben Mee will retrieve it with great interest, and he hit it long now with his left foot. Ben Mee hits it left footed up towards the edge of the D. Blicked on. Will he break for Burnley inside the area? It just wouldn't break. Just wouldn't break in the area. It's going to be a throw, a long throw now. Burnley now seconds from being beaten here in the opening fixture of the Premier League after a year away. Here's Keane, good running, good gambling run, and surely he was tripped, referee was on the spot. No yellow card, free kick it is. Keane might as well just stay forward for this now. Marnie is in there, he's had a super game, and I'm going to give a Clarence man in the match to Michael Keane, because, not Michael Keane, Dean Marnie I should say, because his work rate in industry has been far better than any other Burnley midfielder. I have to say, the worst player for Burnley today, I'm afraid to say, David Jones. Apart from the set plays, his midfield industry and his service towards the front men has been nothing short of pathetic. Free kick then to Burnley. Johan Gudmundsson to take it. This has got to be the last roll of the dice. We're now 30 seconds over the 4 minutes. Chipped in there, and it's just too close to the goalkeeper, and that will mean surely now Swansea will bring about their victory. And I think that's how a lot today. I have to be honest with you now. And it's going to be a defeat for Burnley on opening day in the Barclays Premier League. Sean Dyche disappointed, of course, but there you go. It's take your money, take your choice, and I'm afraid to say it's going to be Swansea's afternoon. The ball comes out of play. John Moss, whistle to his mouth, ends the game, and it's a defeat for Burnley. Francesco Guidolin, Swansea get all 3 points, but they used a huge Trumka look up in a lot of respects to get the points. Burnley can point to a clear penalty shout early on in the second half, but Michael Keane was clearly tugged by the goal scorer and match winner Leroy Fabianski. Got away with 1 or 2 saves out of the ordinary. It's the Welsh side that go away with 3 points, but they've Burnley deserved it on the balance of the second half. I thought Burnley were the better side. Swansea, I didn't see anything special in them at all. It's disappointment for Burnley, but Guidolin, even he would know that his team have got away with some well today. So full time then at Turf Moor as the players go off the field, shake hands with everybody. It's ended Burnley 0, Swansea City 1. Leroy first goal after 83 minutes, winning the game. And we'll now hear from Sean Dyche, the Burnley manager, in a moment or two before we end our commentary stream here. Here he is now talking with Clarets player Darren Bentley.
Yeah, definitely. First half, it was. I thought they had the edge on it. They looked more composed because they've played in the Premier League for many years. Some of these players, and they look like it. And we just had that little edge to us. It's kind of a belief thing. It's hard to put your finger on it, but I know it because I've played a lot of football and I've been involved in football all my life. But second half, I thought that changed, and I thought we were on the front foot. We were very strong. We got the ball forward with quality, and we were much more effective in the game. And their keepers had to pull off 2 great saves before, unfortunately, they get a goal. And against the run of play, it's got to be said, and we're disappointed in that. We're disappointed in the goal, but we've created enough good chances today to get something from the game, at least something from the game. So that's the frustration. And of course, unfortunately, we need to get a decision, and this level of football, the details are really tight, and the pulling of the shirt of Michael Keane is, everyone can see it, and they're certainly on that side of the pitch, and the linesman can see it, doesn't get given.
After one when Fabianski flapped at the corner, yeah?
Yeah, and Kino's got a 3-yard header, but if you watch it back, he doesn't quite make it because his shirt's being pulled, so very frustrating.
Fabianski, and that probably behind the match, that tells you a story in itself.
Well, yeah, I mean, a couple of really good saves, and like I say, the thing is, what we've got to be mindful of is the last time we were here, we gave good performances, didn't quite get the outcome. that's the bit we've got to change, because I like the good performances, of course, and the team looked full of energy. The organisation was good. You know, we've dealt with a lot of their threats. Not all of them, they've got some really good threats, but we've dealt with a lot of it today. We don't just want that respect from being well thought of and giving everything. We want that respect of winning games and being in the Premier League ongoingly. So that's the bit that we're trying to change and flex. That's why we're working in the market as well, not only for these players, but to give that level of depth that is needed in the Premier League.
It's hard, isn't it? You can create the chances, and that's again another great plus going forward. I know today's a hard little story, but that might change for you.
Well, it has to change, you know, because don't get me wrong, it's game one. We've got a lot of others to come, but you want to get points on the board as quick as possible, you know.
Indeed you do, and unfortunately Burnley just couldn't produce on the day. It was a difficult one because Swansea did buy a few decisions off referee John Moss, and it was disappointing. Anyway, that's it from me as far as this particular delayed stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. A little bit of special, a little bit of a treat there for you guys. So we'll be back again with full match commentary on Friday night of Manchester United against Southampton. We'll be back with Burnley Liverpool next Saturday, and Sunderland against Middlesbrough in the Tiers Weir derby on Sunday afternoon. Thank you very much indeed for listening to this commentary. I hope very much you've enjoyed our little live stream here today. I've certainly enjoyed it myself, but for me, JB, on a day where it just didn't come right for Burnley in the end, it's goodbye.